Gender Equality Pakistan by Elena Cortez, Emily Person, Brock Payne, and Amanda Dos Santos. Gender equality can be a sensitive subject in some places in the world. In our project, we want to talk about the issue and focus specifically on gender equality in Pakistan. In our presentation, we will go through different subtopics that will help you understand the issue of gender equality in Pakistan. But first, we want to answer some questions for you about what gender equality is and what it means as a world issue. First, what is gender equality? When we look up the definition, it says, gender equality is the state in which access to rights or opportunities is unaffected by gender. And on UN.org, we read a more in-depth definition that explains, gender equality refers to the equal rights, responsibilities, and opportunities of women and men, and girls and boys. Equality does not mean that women and men will become the same, but that women's and men's rights, responsibilities, and opportunities will not depend on whether they are born male or female.
Brock Payne here. We're going to talk a little bit about women in the workplace. And so as you can see here, Pakistan's ranked fairly low as far as gender equality is based. And these are based on violence, restricted mobility, lack of education, little awareness of rights, lack of access to and ownership of resources and assets, and limited access to social services. And these numbers are pretty reflective of the workplace in Pakistan. And in another study, you can see that Pakistan's ranked fairly low as far as this study is more workplace related. A lot of this is based on the culture of Pakistan. Pakistan has some pretty dominant views of the roles of men and women, and so until those change, we can kind of bet that these numbers won't change all that much. And part of that is just because as soon as a girl is born, that she's constantly fed social lessons and what her role is in society and things like that. There are organizations that are striving to change things, such as Right to Education Pakistan, which is striving to educate both boys and girls, which will in turn allow them to open doors in both the social world and in the job career world as well. And so Pakistan, it has a long ways to go, but they're getting on the right track.
Women's political marginalization continues to be a norm for these women. Extensive acts of violence are shown against women, often who attempt to be more involved in politics and who try to stand up for women's rights. In 2007, Benazir Bhutto, who was prime minister, was assassinated. Another women's rights activist and Punjab minister for social welfare, Zile Huma Uthman, was also assassinated in the same year. Most recently, we know of Malala, a child who was raising awareness for women's rights and was shot, and continues today to raise awareness for women's rights and their right to be involved in every aspect of the government and of their nation. Part of the reason is believed that Pakistan is so far behind having women be more involved in politics is because it has been subjected to a fragile democracy, constantly interrupted by military coups, poor economic performance, and the inability of the state to provide equal opportunities for all.
So the education system, as we can see, it's typically a human right almost everywhere around the world, and it's also something that people look up to. Education is something that is very accessible here, especially in the United States, especially secondary education. We have different types of resources. If one can't afford it, it's easy to get a job, to get loans, scholarships, families, etc. But specifically, we're going to be talking about Pakistan and how it affects society, and as well as why education is something that women don't really receive. So, as we can see, the literacy rate of males and females of 2006, if you go towards the bottom, Pakistan, males versus females, you can see there's quite a large gap in between them. It's just showing you the difference between educated and not educated, and so forth.
Pakistan still has a long way to go to achieve gender equality. Their society has favored men for decades. Abuse, discrimination, and misogyny are rampant. However, there is progress being made. With the help of strong female role models and leaders, the women of Pakistan can let their voices be heard. If men and women work together, they can teach the new generation how women should really be treated, what their true rights are, and they can pave the way for the future. This future will include more women in leadership positions. It will include more women in the workforce. It will not include men abusing their wives or daughters. It will not include laws that allow men to get away with rape. Most importantly, it will include the empowerment of women. So yes, you could say in Pakistan, the future is female.